that without more gear oil. I think that's good. There might be water in this.
Oh no.
There's rust on the half shaft, which shouldn't happen, I don't think. We are going to change the oil in the rear differential. We've got to loosen all the bolts. My understanding is the best thing to do is to leave the top attached while the fluid drains out. We'll pull the cover off, and then we've got to clean up all the old gasket material before we can put a new gasket on and refill it. So we've pulled the spindle on this side to get into the brakes. And I lost a little bit of oil, so in theory I could just add a little bit of oil back, but I really didn't like the looks of it. It looked like I had water condensation in there. This Dreamboat has sat over time in places. So we might have some condensation in there. I'm not really sure why, but that's partly why I'm taking this off to figure out what that oil really looks like and if I've got issues inside the differential.
Well, we've done this before. We did the seal and the fluid, the oil.
Different wrench combination, I think. Got a copper brake line that runs close by up here, and I need to be careful as I'm fighting to break these loose that I don't catch this and rip it down and give myself a bigger problem. And I also need to deal with over here, not sure if it shows around the exhaust, but there's a hanger for the brakes that's on a bolt to the back of the differential, so you do not forget to properly reassemble that. All right, now all my bolts are loose. Bring the bin in and start taking them out. Again, the recommendation was to leave the top one in, take every other one out, and at a certain point it'll start to drain. You can see the red RTV gasket maker sealant here. I opted for the drill on this, well, driver. It's too small to break these loose, but realizing that once they're loose, I have a power tool to do this job. I'm much happier now.
It'll save your elbow, which has been bothering you.
Yep. It has been, and hopefully this helps. Top bolt is just gonna get loosened slightly. And then I'm gonna grab a putty knife and pry that back a little bit so it starts to drain.
That's my 5-in-1 tool.
It's technically yours, yes. Well, I'm glad it's not empty. Should be somewhere around 3 quarts in here, is my understanding.
Looks kind of milky.
It does look a little bit milky. Should be closer to clear for the amount of mileage that's on it.
Since the last time we replaced it.
Yep. Sets the cover hanging loose. That's the putty knife.
My 5-in-1 tool will never be the same.
It's used.
Once you've used it, it'll never be the same.
There's a big rear differential.
I can clean the gasket.
We've got corrosion up high. We want to kind of film that out in the light. Things I see in here that I don't like include a little bit of rust up high. The oil level, I think when it's full, is somewhere around the middle, but I don't know exactly. What I don't like is that there's rust showing up high where it wouldn't be constantly bathed in oil if it was just sitting.
I'm just going to take the squeeze-on gasket and peel it off.
We were looking at the inside of the differential cover, and you can see where the oil level is roughly, because below that level it's fairly clean in here, and above that level we've got a lot of surface rust. Not excited about this. I'm not sure if we should reuse this cover or buy one without the rust in it, but I need to look at the rest of the gears around and see how much rust and figure out how to deal with that. I am a little bit concerned about how much rust is in here. I'm gonna spray it with brake clean, and my hope is that doesn't strip too much of the oil out, but the goal is to get it cleaner so I can see how much rust I've got. Down in the bottom, there's a magnet that will collect up little filings and whatnot that sink to the bottom. And there's definitely kind of sludgy, you can feel steel shavings on it. And I'm not sure if it's just the surface rust that falls off of up higher, like the bolt up high has surface rust, the one that's submerged doesn't. And yeah, it's a concern.
Got your eye protection?
I do.
How pitted is it now that you can see under the oil?
So the gears themselves
look good, right?
The gears themselves I think are good. It's all these surfaces that may rust up again and shed little bits of you know, gritty little bits, so that'll accelerate wear. It's a concern.
We went to the mechanic at the end of the road, and he suggested scrape it, use some brake cleaner, clean it up, and put it back together. So that's what we're gonna do.
It says the oil looks like it's got water in it. You know, the milkiness of the oil.
The creaminess, yeah.
This is the seal we're going to use to put the rear diff cover back on. It had been done with RTV mega gasket type sealant. This is a proper gasket. It's always important to make sure you have the right one before you take something like that apart. This one appears to be the right one with the bolt holes all lining up. Thank you. I think I'm going to try to get the top side bolt on first. Just gonna try to carefully get it lined up so I don't damage it. My goal is to get every bolt in here hand tight going all the way around before I actually torque it down. I hand started all the bolts to make sure nothing was cross threaded and everything started easy.
You want me to come and cross thread things
No,
for
please,
you?
please do not.
I'm really
This is
gifted.
Not a good time to cross thread something. Now I'm using the drill to just get them snug, and then I'm going to come back with the torque wrench and actually torque them to spec. I think it's 30 foot-pounds. So they're as tight as the little impact will get them. I've got to get them a little tighter with this wrench before I go after them with the torque wrench to torque them to 30 foot-pounds. All right, I've torqued everything to spec. Gonna pull out the pan. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna leave the pan because I've got to refill it. The filler is up on the front side. I gotta go in front of the tire to get in there to it. But in case I spill anything, I'm gonna leave the pan over here.
Smart.
Everything else I'm gonna take out the back.
What's happening right now?
I am cleaning out a square hole. This is the fill hole, and it should take about 3 quarts and or to level with the bottom of the hole. So it's a square slot in the plug, and it looks like it's about the size of a 3/8 drive socket. So that's what I'm going to try to use to open it up.
That's the plug.
That is the plug.
I'm going to keep it safe.
Safe out of the dirt? Yep. Now we have to wipe that off. Got the tip cut off this. Basically, I'm going into a hole right in the side of the differential. There's not a lot of room for like a funnel or anything, so I'm hoping I can get most of this in just going straight in the hole.
And you have the pan to catch anything that doesn't.
Pan to catch, and yeah, hopefully I won't lose so much volume and lose track of how much I'm actually getting in here. It's dripping a little, but I think most of it's going in. I think most of this bottle made it in.
On to the next.
Yep. Got just about all of the second quart in here, and it seems like it wants to drip back out more easily. I don't know if I have to wait for it to get kind of all down in there, how fast it flows. But it was dripping out on me a little more. It should take another quart, so it can't be full yet.
And that's the third bottle.
You can feel it burp back a little bit, but I'll just take this last one slower.
You're just putting that back in.
I'm putting the plug back in. Very hard to start for some reason. Now to the wrench.
Yeah, that's really milky.
Yep.
That is not how that is supposed to look.
Nope. And then that's all like irony deposits from off the magnet that I scraped off the magnet with a screwdriver.
Want to support our project? Click the like button so YouTube sends our video to more people. Thanks for watching and have an awesome day.